Professor of Law and Globalisation at Queen Mary University. Penny, information still very much coming in about this attack in Jabalia. What's your initial reaction to it?
I suppose my initial reaction is that this is following the Israeli stated plan, really, to, as Netanyahu said, we're going to raise Gaza and create a city of tents. And we've seen statement after statement from the IDF and from the Israeli state indicating their intention to really erase Gaza from the state of the planet.
I suppose, Penny, the Israelis might say, and we haven't heard much from them about this, they might say that there are targets there within Jabalia, potentially tunnels under it. I don't know. What would you say to that?
The Israelis know. I mean, and they admitted that they were not precision targeting. This is not a precision targeting exercise. The whole population of Gaza have been deemed as Hamas, and we hear this statement time and time again from the Israeli Knesset members, from Netanyahu, from the leaders of the IDF, that every civilian in Gaza is a target, and therefore that's why we've seen this indiscriminate bombing. So I don't think that we need even to think about the tunnels necessarily, because every citizen of Gaza, I mean, to my mind, as a genocide scholar, this is a genocide. And the whole purpose of a genocide is to erase the identity of the target population, in this case, the Palestinians who live in Gaza.
So I suppose, given that legally and also ethically, where would you say that leaves Israel's government?
It leaves them as criminals, as genocidaires. And I think that the rest of the world must stand up and demand an immediate ceasefire and an end to the illegal occupation of Gaza and of Palestine. I think that the world has been utterly shocked by the scenes that we've witnessed and the absolute devastation that the people of Gaza have experienced. It really is astonishing. Almost 9,000 people have been killed in just over 3 weeks. Half of them, virtually half of them, children. Now, Israel has stated in the past that even children are to be considered as enemies. They are considered as non-civilians, and they're also considered very explicitly, and this is a very strong theme within all genocidal states, is to define those who are being erased or annihilated as less than human. And we've seen the epithet of non-human animal used against all Gazans, and this makes it much easier to annihilate them as a people.
And what about then, given that, what about what the International Criminal Court is doing? Israel not a member state of that. Are they doing enough, do you feel?
I don't think we should be looking to the International Criminal Court for any kind of solution here. Israel has violated 28 UN Security Council resolutions with complete impunity. They have suffered no repercussions, no consequences for those violations. The international legal order in respect of Palestine has failed dramatically. So I don't think we can see any future redress or justice for the Palestinians by looking at the international courts such as the ICC or the ICJ. And we've learned that from other genocides in the past. And these courts act very slowly. International law acts without any teeth. So I think that is not, we have to rely on the actions, I think, of civil society, non-violent civil society, the kind of protests we saw in London last weekend, 500,000 people at least marching in defense and solidarity of Palestine and against the genocidal actions of Israel. We have to look at the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement. And that is the kind of action that puts real pressure, real economic pressure on a country, a criminal country like Israel. And I think that's where we need to look, to the organised actions of civil society and not to the international legal order, which has absolutely failed the Palestinian people.
I suppose, Penny, given what you said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what you're kind of suggesting here is that the international community and nation states around the world are, by just tacitly looking on, are sort of condoning this, what's going on in Palestine and in your own words, condoning genocide. Is that how you feel?
I think it is, and I'm devastated by the fact that that Western states either voted against an immediate ceasefire or abstained from calling for an immediate ceasefire. I think at this point, it's the very, very least. We have to stop the carnage that you're showing on your screen right now. And I'm afraid that the international community has a lot to answer for in relation to the Palestinians.
And I mean, it just feels like we're so far away from measures like sanctions, measures like a ceasefire. Is there anything that could happen faster? I mean, what you're suggesting is you wait for, populations around the world to protest and thus force their governments to do something. I suppose some might say, if we look at what happened in Iraq, it doesn't matter how big the protest is, governments will just do what they want anyway.
No, and that is sometimes an unfortunate reality, but that is what we've got. That is all we've got. And I think that we need to increase the pressure on our governments because nothing can change, nothing can happen until we have an immediate ceasefire. The hospitals in Gaza are completely overwhelmed. Residential buildings have been destroyed. I don't know if it's something like 60% of residential buildings have been destroyed in Gaza. The carnage is unimaginable for most of us. And I think that all we can do is to fight, to force our own governments around the world to put pressure on Israel, to stop this carnage, to employ an immediate ceasefire now, and ultimately to end the illegal occupation of the West Bank and Gaza.
Penny Green, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.